start meeting down here, so it's great, we've got everything laid out. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So welcome guests and visitors. We have Marcia with us. She is on the agenda today, and then our mayor is with us. And so we will, what is that beeping sound?
That's the backup generator warning. We've called, they're due to get here, and they've got a reset switch.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
What's that beeping sound? Okay, thank you.
That's my report for that.
Thank you for that. So we will do the consent agenda, and then we will let Marcia present so that she can then leave unless she wants to stay. We'll let her do that. So the consent agenda, previous minutes, Ms. Anna handed these out. So if you all would like to read over that, then we will accept or make corrections. You have to. Do I hear a motion to accept as presented?
Motion to accept.
Do I hear a second? Second by Paul. Any corrections to the minutes? Oh, I'm sorry, Robin.
No, I'm fine.
Are you good?
Yep.
Okay. If not, we will accept as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Good job, Anna, for your first time. Good job. Good job. Right, so then we have our, next is our financial reports. On the top sheet, we have, our, what have we spent, the biggest, we had payroll, and then $9,000 in advertising, and a couple other small expenditures, the phone, the internet, and, the muni services. Did yours get cut off or something? Oh, yours really did get cut off. Okay, I'll show you this. Okay, so muni services. And muni services, the reason it was a little bit higher this month, what we paid them, is if one of our lodging places does not file for their month, and they come in and they file 2 months, then we get charged their 2 months. We get charged for the month they didn't file, and then they file twice in 1 month, then we get charged twice for that month. So you have to file every month, and if you file in the next month, that's why you can't say it's gonna be a set 333 a month, because if somebody, if they're late, then they go the next month, we get charged the next month. So, sorry about that. Yes. All right, so if you look at the next page, our income was $10,077.28, and compared to last year, we, were down about $200. Last year, we brought in $10,262, and this year, it was $10,077, and that was for the month of February. And, I'm sorry, let me get my Bible straight. That's what we got in February. All right, so that was for January's income. February's income, I already have the number, but it won't show until next month on the books. And that was down from last month, but remember, we had a snow week, so.
Yes, we did.
right on it, but
Lots of
anyway, we did
cancellation.
have a snow day. So, are there any questions or corrections, that you want to ask or ask Pam about anything about the advertising, what got spent or anything from this? We started our TV commercials back, therefore.
It's all
you know,
TV in Anderson.
advertising, had, you know, is always about $9,000, but we are 45.577% into the budget, so we're still holding our own as far as advertising. Any questions? All right, we'll get us presented. I will, I'll have to make you a copy when we later, because I need a copy. And Amy, you got your copy for the minutes, okay. Now, Marcia, you asked him to present, would you like to go ahead and do that for us?
Okay.
And then if you're, needing to leave, you can leave or you can stay.
Okay.
Most of you know who I am and who I represent, Opera House Theater Players. After a very restricted year, we've been able to manage a little something here and there, and we're still working at it. Next thing we have Chocolate Sunday coming up next Sunday afternoon. If any of you would like to make something chocolate and bring it, it would be highly appreciated. You don't want to make anything, then you just come in at 2 o'clock, look at the entertainment that we're going to have, and also finish all the chocolate off as soon as the winners of that are announced.
And that's gonna be at the Hotel Jefferson, correct?
It is. That in itself is worth the donation walking in. It's quite eclectic, very unusual. You'll enjoy it. We're also now in auditions for a couple of shows that we want to do at the end of May and at the 4th of July period. And one is the musical that takes young people. I'm hoping that we can get some young people involved with this because I believe there's a sad lack of use of these kids around here. They're not getting much in school, nor do they have any outlets around town. But we definitely wanted to key in on young people this time, if we can make it happen. We hope so.
And what's the name of that one gonna be?
We're trying to do Little Women, the musical. And it's based, of course, on the novel by Louisa May Alcott. It hit Broadway about 10, 12, 15 years ago, but it didn't go over real big, but it made some stars, and one of the women, Sutton Foster, was nominated for a Tony Award. It's a sweet little show. Takes only 2 men, which is a wonderful thing, because I never found enough men. But the young girls, we could take those ages from 14 up to 25, and then there's a couple of older roles too. So anybody that has some young grandchildren or children still available would like to come and audition, I'm there Saturday and Sunday at the Parish Hall of Christ Episcopal Church. That's wonderful, and we get through our season that way. If we don't get to do a musical, we will do something, probably a workshop for young people. But coming up September, we have a big deal kickoff. We do something special every September if we possibly can, and heretofore it's been more of a, I guess you might say, a private situation, but we sold tickets to it. We've had several things, different variety of stuff. This time, we became a presenter by contracting the Sons of the Pioneers. You older people will know who that is. And the younger people will probably enjoy their music. If they're instrumentalists as well, the singers, and they have a little humor with it. It's a group that's been around since the 1930s, established by Roy Rogers, cowboy film star. And after he decided to leave early on, he got very popular as a film star. Other people took the group and went on with it, and so it's carried on all these years. They've been up in Branson, I guess, about 30 years. Last year, the whole bottom fell out, as you know. Nothing was happening anywhere, and their entire season of performances went out. Just so happens, I know one of the guys in the group. He's actually from Marshall. Very talented young guy. And I ran into him last year, and I said, when are you guys gonna come around this way? He said, we'll come anytime you can get us, but we right now are not gonna have anything during the virus period. So I said, all right, we'll figure out a date. So he said, I can't tell you that, you're gonna talk to the agent. So after we talked to the agent said, we're trying to get something established for next year. She was talking about 21. And she said, I don't know what to tell you, but I do know we're gonna try to have it working by January of 21, see if we can get some dates filled up. And so after I called her back later on that month, she said, we've got some things cooking, and I said, are you gonna be anywhere near Texas? Because they travel all over the United States and the world. She said, yeah, we're gonna be fairly close, about 3 states away, but she said, it isn't impossible. You wanna pick a date? So we talked around for a while. We all decided that probably Labor Day weekend would be good, because it gives them time to crank it up and move down the United States working their gigs. And we think the virus will be pretty well under control by that time. Plus, we wanted to kick off something in September again. So the whole thing really worked out for us. When she finally said, yeah, we can do that, we'll have to travel on Sunday though, because we have a gig on Saturday night, and then by Monday, we can do your show. I said, that's fine with me. So we established to do it on Monday, September the 6th. Well, their fee is fairly reasonable for who they are, and they're kind of doing us a favor to head this direction. But I got a grant to at least get their fee done. But there are other expenses involved. Overnight, they're gonna be here 2 nights. Meals, plus some audio equipment that we don't have. We made arrangement to rent this building. We've got the stage, we haven't used it in maybe 3 years now. I'm hoping it's still in good shape. It's been stored, but we'll find out. If it's not, then we'll have to rent that too. However, I think it is fairly in good shape. We don't have proper real lighting for in here, but we've got stuff that we use that's okay for us, and I'm hoping it'll be okay for them. Otherwise, we'll have to rent that too. What we don't have anything of is audio equipment, and they have to have it. They've got 6 guys, they all have to have microphones, and they also have to have the amps and the monitors and so forth. We have to rent that for sure. I've checked out the expenses on that, and they can run up to $3,000 if we get it all. So I'm hoping I could only eliminate at least 2 things and only get the audio. So we actually need more money to get this thing properly set up. We've got the fee, and we just need a little bit more money to work on that. Well, if we're gonna get people here, we also have to advertise. So that's another thing we have to think about. Now, you can put it on the internet, and it goes a long way through Facebook, etc., and passing it around. That's good. But you still got to have print media. You hope you're gonna get news releases that will give you a little free space. And you could even try to get a video done for a cable air. Actually, I've had some of those in the past, and I've got a friend over in Longview who can help me with that, and they're not terribly expensive. The last thing we had done was quite a few years back now, probably 5 or 6. And it was just very extremely reasonable. It was under $1,000, so it was good. But, again, you're getting into a territory where we were running short on money. We just don't have that much to work with. Our ticket sales, of course, when we had anything at all, we only had about 25 people, which is all we could handle in the location where we were. So so we can't really make anything off ticket sales. And fundraisers, I'm hoping Chocolate Sunday will bring a few $100s there, that will help. But we mainly need some help in spreading the word, so I'd say advertising is gonna be a big part of our plea for help. The other thing is that after we talked about it for a while, we got to thinking about, well, people come to town and they stay for 3 days, maybe they don't. There's a little something to do here in town, and we always have a pretty good crowd on Labor Day. I've noticed over the years. But there's anything extra going on, you know, something that would really grab them to come and stay for, say, 2 days at least. You come in on Saturday, you could get them busy all day Saturday and Saturday night, and you've got Sunday, you could do something for them. Monday, they can have still a little time left to do whatever. And then at 3 o'clock, we're gonna set this Sons of the Pioneer show up. And we're doing that because if people come from out of town, as far away as Houston, Dallas, and et cetera, then if they wanna leave by 4:30, they still get home early. Gotta go to work the next day, I can understand that. So then we thought about, why don't we just enlarge it and try to include the entire city? Because if you give people extra things to do, make an event out of it, you might say, then you'll entice them to stay and spend more money. And that's the basic idea. So we discussed it a little bit, and I talked to a few people, and they actually seemed very interested in it. But we had a little meeting last week. We had a nice little show of people and the business community. Of course, at that time, we were just trying to outline what we might do. But as I told them, and I will tell you, theater does not have the people to do it. I mean, we just don't have that many people working with us. We have a board of 9 people. 4 of those people live out of town. 1 is not ever going to come back here. But the other 3 will help when they can, and most of them will come into town for our meetings and so forth. But we don't have a membership that can help either, because most of them are up in age and they simply not physically going to be able to handle it. So we need that help as well, and that's why I wanted to get most of the business community involved. People that are eager to get folks here to stay for 3 days, you got to give them something to do, and these are the people that would be interested in helping. So we discussed the idea of maybe having a parade on a Saturday, which would be September the 4th.
A race, I'm sorry.
Parade.
A parade, I'm sorry.
parade.
I thought you said race, and let's go with, okay, parade.
Parade, and that would have to be worked out. I've talked to Mr. Biddy, Mr. Alan Biddy, who is the president of the Marion County Rodeo Association. And he was at the meeting, and he was all for it. He's very interested in it. He thinks it's a great idea. And he says, I can get all the people you need if you'll tell me what direction you want to go. So then we thought about that. So I said, well, look, if we've got the Sons of the Pioneers, why don't we just go for the Pioneer Days? And that's essentially what we might call it, Pioneer Days or something. Old Jefferson Pioneer Days or something of the sort. And take it back to the very earliest days. You've got cowboys on horseback. You've got perhaps even an Indian or 2 there. You've got people dragging a wagon going to Texas. I mean, the pilgrimage used to actually do this back in the 50s and the early 60s. That was the kind of parade. It sort of got away from that and went to more of a Victorian and a more affluent period, you might say. But we're trying to think about bringing it back to a very basic period. When Marion County, of course, had ranches, they had farms. Their basis was agriculture and cattle and cotton, of course. And you'd have to include the river deckhands too. So that's the idea, of putting it together like that. And it's all right now just a skeleton outline of what. We have another meeting coming up in another week. And everybody has been assigned an idea to work with to try to work it up. But it all boils down to this. We still got to have the help, and we're probably gonna have to have some money to get it going. It's not, probably not all of it can be donated. Some of it will be, and a lot of manpower will be. But, for instance, if we had a street dance, we'd have to hire a band, and maybe you could hire one at low or no cost, you know. But mainly, I think you'd have to count on paying a little something for a band. And I'm thinking the street dance would be a fun thing to do, because that's not something that people do very much, and certainly not around here. And I actually thought about part of the street out here on Austin Street, where they have the car show so often. We could set it up there, or other locations we might think about. But that, everybody's got a job, and one of our members is going to work on that end of it for me. Mr. Weir, who is the Texas A&M Ag Man here, he's very interested in this also. And I believe that he will be a help to us in obtaining more people who would be interested in working with us here. A couple that have several businesses in town could not come to the meeting, but they said, count us in, so they will help too. I'm thinking that we could get a budget going that would include advertising on some of the Sons of the Pioneer stuff, as well as a event, a Pioneer Days event, you might say. And we might be able to work it at $5,000. As you know, advertising costs a lot, so that would take up a good part of it, but that doesn't sound like an awful lot of money to me to put on an event. But, you know, we're thinking about some of maybe the clubs, churches, organizations might want to cater and make the money for themselves. We're not making any money on this. This is all strictly for the entertainment of people that come here. They come to the street dance, you can't necessarily sell a ticket to it, but you can take up donations, or you can sell concessions. You know, it just let people handle it like that. That is just the idea of working with it. So I'm asking for help from the tourist committee as a tourist-oriented event. We've not really had to ask very much before, but we would appreciate any of your grants that you would like to give us, and I understand that you probably got special ways to deal with that. If you want to know exactly where the money went, we can do that. And I'd be happy to answer your question. Anybody got one?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So the Sons of the Pioneers are gonna perform here in this building?
Right here.
Yeah. Okay, and you're gonna sell tickets to that to the general public?
That is our ticket. That's right. Now, this is the only thing we're going to make money out of.
Right, okay, so that's your fundraising part, so you got a grant
It
to
is.
pay for that?
It is.
Okay, and.
We have a grant to pay for the fee of this bunch.
Right.
But we don't have enough to cover
The
advertising
right.
and any of the equipment they might need.
Right, I understand. So, all the proceeds from the ticket sales goes to your organization?
Only for the Sons of the Pioneers. We make the money
Right.
on that, so it does not go anywhere
That
else.
would be probably-
We're a 501c3, so
Right.
we're not
I
a problem.
understand what you're doing, I just
Now,
wanted to make sure.
anything else that happens, I don't know if they even want to charge for somebody to be in the parade or something. I can't imagine they'd want to do that.
All that stuff.
Going to the street dance, you know,
What are
I'm
your-
saying maybe a donation.
What are your ticket prices gonna
For mine, oh, here?
be? Yeah.
They have to be $25. They have to be that.
Okay.
They can't be any less than that,
And
because you couldn't be able to handle it.
what's our max for stage setup?
For stage setup?
Yeah, how many people come to this building?
You can put 300 trailers in here.
I think
We've
you've
done it
talked
before.
have you talked to Danielle about reserving it and the numbers and anything?
I've talked to Danielle, and
Okay.
as far as I know, Texas is open now to see it.
Yes, it is.
And hopefully it'll still be that way in September.
So
It's the
300.
max.
We put the
Yeah.
stage here, and we roll 300 chairs back here. And that, it can happen, because we've actually done this in the past. We had the Tommy Darcy Orchestra in here, filled it up to 300. And we had the Glenn Miller, but we didn't have that here, we had it someplace else. He didn't draw us any because it was someplace else. But down here, it will draw.
Have you talked about doing 2 shows?
Doing what?
2 shows?
2 shows?
Yeah. And that's a way to increase your revenue, so.
I don't think they can do that, they have to be on the road.
Okay.
And it's gonna start at what, 5:30?
3.
3,
Oh, 3, okay.
3 o'clock seemed like a good time,
Yeah, that's a good time.
you know.
It is, because then people can
People-
come and
people
still
can
go
check out.
home rather than in the evening.
can
It's
check
an
out
hour and a
the
half
movies.
show.
That, yeah,
Go around town until 3 and then leave.
right. It's a better time than like 5:30.
Oh, yeah. I would say, well, from 1 to 3 is sort of optimum time
Yeah.
for Sunday.
So you think they'll stay
Monday.
here?
It's gonna be on a Monday.
Monday, yeah.
And will they stay here like Sunday night possibly, or?
Yeah, it's,
Oh, yes, they're driving in on Sunday, so they got Sunday night, and they may have Monday night. She actually told me to reserve for 2 nights, is what she said. And I've already done that. And they've given us a real good price on it, but it's still money, you know, gotta have it.
how many people do you need to get rooms?
There's 6 people. But the good part is that we only need 5 people, because one of them lives in Marshall.
There you
So
go.
he'll just go
Oh,
home
he'll just go home.
and come back. And we're allowed to get a lot of people from Marshall because he is from Marshall. They know him.
Well, I've heard of the Sons of Pioneers, you should be able to sell out, no problem. I mean, I've heard of the Sons of Pioneers filling a auditorium to 2,000 people. You know,
Will you do concessions here? Will you do concessions here, or do you not do that?
We are not planning, I don't have the people to work this kind of thing, you know? We're not planning to do any concession. If some organization wanted to come in and say, hey, we'll set up your water and your drinks and maybe some cookies and sell, fine with me. They just have to work it through that, you know.
and Drew could do
She's up in president.
that. Yeah.
I do know this, at the end of the concert, they were adamant to say, we need a table in the front, we want to sell our CDs. They did say that.
Yeah.
And also,
They
we'll
did.
have photos taken with them. And by the way, Roy Rogers' son is still a member of this little number. He's been a member for many, many years, and he kind of looks like Roy Rogers.
So you young people remember Roy Rogers.
They all know Roy Rogers.
Well, here's where I'm coming from, for our organization. We don't have any like grants. Our money is all budgeted. Now, we can help with, advertising and, you know, with what we have. And if our contacts continues, we might have a little money that we could maybe do a Facebook ad or something like that. But as far as
But she's
just-
looking for commercials.
yeah, as far as TV or big commercials and everything like that, we don't have the money for that.
But we do have some stuff that's already going out that we can tag there.
Yes, we could tag on to
Yeah,
that.
that
Yeah,
doesn't-
you could.
Yes.
That's what I was kind of thinking about, some businesses around here might want to say, be sure to come to blah, 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 you know, at that date, on the end of their ad.
I've got 7,000 customers also to out to.
So, I mean, we can help in that respect. Have you talked to the restaurants about maybe comping meals or anything like that? Or you
Not
have
yet.
you have somebody
We're
maybe
still
that
working
can
on
do
these
that?
things.
Okay.
But that is the idea, we talked about some donations that way. We, you know, in-kind stuff would be fine. Since we're 501c3, they can take their costs off, you know,
Right.
from taxpayers.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure that Kansas probably would do that.
Yeah.
Well, you can sell sponsorships too, you know, like
Yeah, that's.
Preston
And-
does
and-
for Texas Sounds, you know.
Right.
What about Sevco? Have you approached them about being a sponsor?
No, we have not, well, I mean, we just started this, we just had a meeting a few days back.
I mean, you might talk to Sevco.
I thought about that.
See
Yes,
if-
yes.
Banks always sponsor big
So
stuff.
the banks will throw in a few hundred, and you probably even hit up Norboard, Great Western, or whatever they're called.
Or the cabinet back.
Well, we're gonna talk to several of the businesses like that, the bigger businesses. And, We've had pretty good look at that before.
And what about Marshall? If that, one of the members is from Marshall, could you get people in Marshall who might want to come and see him to sponsor?
I thought about that too, and we're actually planning to go over to KMHG. That's a country station.
Right.
This should be right up their alley, you know, and give us some equal time of sponsorship or something, you know?
If you're a 501(c), you can go on all the radio stations. and get-
Yeah.
And get PSA time.
Yeah.
So you can go 92.3, you can do KMHD, you can do the place like Texarkana. You can get them all because you're a 501(c).
Right.
The depot probably would
Show up
too.
early in the morning, let them, you can tell you, tell the story.
Yeah. There's a way to do it. You just gotta get it out there.
Are you gonna do any kind of a cooking thing or chili cook-off or anything like that? I know one time you were talking about something about food or,
Yeah, you can do a chili
Well, we were
cook-off.
talking about barbecue.
oh, barbecue.
We were talking about a barbecue. We were talking about parade, street dance, barbecue on Sunday maybe. Mr. Biggie said something about maybe we could set it up at the rodeo arena, which is just outside of town here. And then somebody could cater out there with, you know, barbecue, whatever. And somebody else, you know, could make the money off that. He mentioned that, and
Oh, I was thinking we were doing more of like a barbecue, different people doing their barbecue and paying
Right.
an entrance fee.
Yeah, you have a cook-off, it doesn't cost you any money.
And different people pay, say, $50 to be in it, and they cook, and you cook, and you cook, everybody pays
And you have
$50.
judges from town that come out and judge, and the winner gets a plaque and the,
we also thought about putting all of this on one ticket. I don't know how that would work. If we had 3 or 4 events with culminating with the Sons of the Pioneers, you'd have to make it a pretty high price ticket. You know, you could say 25 for sure on the Pioneers. And you could have, well, you could have, you know, 25 a couple for the dance and, you know, nothing for the parade, of course, but you could maybe something out for the barbecue. And, we thought about, cowboy church, breakfast or something, you know, chuck wagons. I mean, Mr. B came up with all this. He said that the chuck wagons is that I can get all those guys and they'll cook it out there and sell it and do whatever you want, you know, but that's just, we're working on this.
I think the drawback with all in one ticket is that you're gonna have people from out of town just stay Friday, Saturday. And then you'll have people stay Saturday, Sunday. So I wouldn't limit it to just one ticket.
yeah. You want something.
Okay.
that's-
Yeah.
Right, and some people might not.
Well, I thought it'd be
Some
pretty
people
messy to deal with.
might not wanna go to a street dance.
Or go to eat barbecue or go to, you know,
Right.
so I wouldn't think that would be the best.
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I don't know that we have any, I mean, I know that we can, the tourism board's allowed to do, help events, but I don't know if we have any extra money to do that.
We don't. I mean, it's pretty well line item out. I mean.
I could probably get her on Living Local at a very
Yeah,
reasonable
we can get
price.
you tagged on some of our advertising you've already paid for, but I don't know that we have like a grant we can give you to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I said, we just don't have the money right, you know, because it's line item. But Living Local would be.
I can get her on Living Local, it only costs us $100. We can get her on the week of.
On what?
It's called Living Local, it comes on at 12:30.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
I can get you on Loving, because
Mhm.
I can get you on.
I'm sure Rick Rowe would want to do this.
Yeah, but we have to pay Rick.
We have to pay Rick
And he's the
lots.
big bucks.
Big bucks. But if we could get you on Living Local, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And KLTV comes over here a lot. They get over here a lot to do the courthouse. That's Tyler.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Both
Yes.
KTAL and KLTV have done
Yeah.
You know, Mark might help us.
He
He's
might.
a member of our group.
Absolutely.
I think he would help us
it.
probably.
You gotta do his ads.
Oh, I bet he would. All you have to do is ask.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's done a lot for
Well,
Texas.
Marcia, if he'll do your commercial, if Mark will do your commercial, we could air it for a few times in, where our regular commercial airs.
I see, yeah, make a little sub in there every now and
And
then,
we
yes.
could set that commercial in.
And he might do that.
If he wants to, but it would have to come under our contract, what we're already paying for.
Mhm, I see what you mean.
Additional. I don't know if he'll do that.
So if he would do that,
I bet he might.
He might.
yeah, that's good.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, and, because we air our commercial 2 weeks out of the month, pretty regular, it's running right now, it's real consolidated. So,
Is it run all year, you mean?
yeah,
Or just certain times?
no, we run it.
All year? Okay, well, that would work. We'd work in
you
Kent
know,
County.
And we could do it.
Line it up, yeah. Well,
It
I'll
just has to
check
be
on that.
shipping for you. Okay, that's good. Any other questions?
But you gotta have all your ducks in a row. You
Oh, I
gotta-
understand.
If
It's gotta be
you're
solid.
gonna do the chili cook-off, and when they shoot a commercial, if you say chili cook-off, you gotta show the chili cook-off.
Yeah.
If you say Sons of the Pioneers, you gotta show the Sons of the Pioneers.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you are doing, you have to show it for the commercial.
And they probably have a little video that you could sub in for them.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that's all, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna.
Well,
have
now,
some-
you mean the Suns?
Yes.
Because, that gets into a little problem, because they, in their contract, they're very strict about that kind of stuff. They don't want their stuff out there without total permission, and also, I don't know, maybe a money thing, I'm not sure. I have to read the contract again, but I remember
But
reading
they
that.
have a little clip that you
Most
can.
bands have a clip you can use for
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not a preset commercial.
Now, if they wouldn't mind us using it, no cost.
No, they should have a YouTube clip out there already.
Right.
I bet they do. That is I bet they do. Sure, they go to YouTube. I bet they do.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll certainly check on that too.
Well, it won't be, you can even spin a poster in, it's gonna be a 15-30 second commercial.
If it's a static thing, you can still have voiceover and still use pictures. Or if you've got a video clip of them, that would be good too.
Make
I think
sure
that needs to be the focal point for
But I
us.
tell you, it's 30 seconds, it goes real fast.
The only thing is, I want to ask you guys, what do you think about a title if we do this event? Now, all we could pretty well come up with was Pioneer Days.
There's 3 or 4 different
What do you think?
cities.
Is
that-
that catchy enough?
But there are cities, there are a couple
There's
cities
a
that
couple cities that
have.
already have Pioneer Days. Louisville, Texas has one.
New Boston.
Hallsville or something around Hallsville, I think
Yeah.
does.
Well, that's small ones.
And New Boston's is in the fall.
Well, if Sons of the Pioneers is coming here, that's what we need to be saying.
Old Pioneer Days,
But that doesn't.
early Pioneer Days.
That doesn't describe it. If the Sons of the Pioneers are coming here, we need to say Sons of the Pioneers weekend or whatever.
Oh, I see
We
what
need
you're
to
saying.
say,
Use them at the time.
we need to say they are coming. That's what we need to promote.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a bunch of YouTube videos.
Thank you for that. That was right on. So, he's already looked at YouTube? There's videos.
Well, Mark, his guys know how to do all that. So if he'll do it, they'll take care of it.
I think Sons of the Pioneer Days would be good, just because it
You're still doing that,
showcases.
okay.
I mean, that's just.
Well, I agree, I think you're right about that, it's a focal point, and that's what's gonna draw people here, and we just enlarge on the Pioneer end of it.
Because Miranda Lambert, I think they have Miranda Lambert Day. and
Yeah, but
stuff
you
like
have to,
that.
you
So-
have to get permission to use her name.
Well, no, I'm not saying we're using her name, I'm just saying
No,
they have a
we
day.
have to have permission.
But is
Oh,
it,
okay.
have you already gotten this secure, are you going to rent this out? 'Cause I know that weekend's a busy weekend anyway, so, hopefully, this place
Is
is
the building
available that
available?
weekend.
This place?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Have you already put your name on the
We
dot?
did. I'm already down.
Okay, great, okay. I'll look after we leave and make sure, after our meeting's over, and make sure it's there. But like Pam said, you might have to have something in writing to use their name on the event.
Yeah, I'll have to check out that.
Mark's
contract.
guys will have all of that
Yeah.
information.
But she's right, all the band contracts, they do put a stipulation in there, they do approve
That's right, photos and stuff, they've got, you're doing the right thing, you need to get with them,
Yeah.
sure, and see what you can use. Yeah, the gal's really nice, it's a woman, there's an agent, she's very, very knowledgeable. Very
Make sure Mark comes to your next meeting. Need him there, so.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll have it pretty well lined out, yeah.
And if you're gonna have a program or any type of sponsorship, anytime there's an event like this in town, the organizers go around to businesses, every business in this town, or 99% of them, always support stuff like this. Especially those of us that depend on tourism, people coming into town, and they'll, donate, sign up for sponsorship, get door prizes, something. And so that's probably how you're gonna be able to build that financial.
Well, we've
Even
done
if-
that before, and they've been very generous, I have to admit. And we pulled in about $5,000 last time.
What about a
Years ago.
T-shirt and you could put sponsors on the back?
Yeah, with a program, yeah.
You could put the picture of the
Where's
citizens.
those guys already already have their own t-shirt?
They
I don't know if they'll have their
might,
own t-shirts.
well, you're right, they
But this
might.
could be a fancy shirt. It wouldn't
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
Sunday
it would be the
Pioneers
Sons of the
t-shirt,
Pioneers,
you know?
it fit the t-shirt.
And then put sponsors on the back.
Caps.
That's a good idea.
So, all right.
Well, can I put one of you guys on my little committee here? You come up with some good ideas.
When's your next meeting? Some of us might be able to show up.
22nd. It's at 5:30 at the Caddo, Caddo Country
Taste of Caddo.
Taste
April
Caddo.
22nd, Taste of Caddo.
And Darlene is the go-getter. She wants to do something. Do you all know Darlene?
Yes.
What time is that?
5:30,
Oh,
5:30.
5:30. And you're all invited to come.
Okay. All right, any other questions or suggestions or ideas? No?
Thank you,
Okay. Well,
Marcia.
Marcia, thank you. I'm really glad the time has changed to like 3 on Labor Day. So that,
Yeah.
it's earlier and then people are here. You
Yeah.
can drive 2 hours after that and get home and be okay.
Well, that's kind of what we thought.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks a whole much.
Thank you,
Marcia.
Marcia.
Bye-bye.
Right, thanks.
Good job.
Okay, so we will go back to our agenda, old business, update on hot tax. This time, we had everybody pay. So it was really good. Everybody paid. First time that we've had everybody on the list pay on time, so that was really good. Update on the new quarterly magazine. On the magazine, I wanted to make sure everybody's gotten the magazine, has seen it, gotten it in your business. If not, be sure to call.
Let me know.
We've got some we're gonna give out at Pilgrimage and everything like that. If you know of anybody wants to give their, put an ad in for next time, have them contact and they would queue and everything like that. So
And we've already had several businesses have chimed they want in for the next one already, and I've still got a few, I've still got to distribute, a few ends I just keep missing. But we're still making the rounds on a few,
Well,
so,
my
but if
husband
anybody,
commented he really liked what you did for the museum and
Cool.
everything like that.
yeah, so if anybody knows of anybody, just have them call me and we'll bring them to you.
So, next, city signage and our VW, y'all, but you're still not.
That's still tabled.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
revisit that.
Okay. The next thing is the music-friendly communities. Preston was here last time and talked to us about that, so, you all had the website and everything like that, so, I have done some research on it. I'm sorry, everybody didn't get a copy of this, you guys have to share, because my printer, ran out of ink. But this is the guidelines to becoming a certified music-friendly community. It lists who is in it already, who is working on it, and the steps to do it. I visited with Preston a little bit today on it, and told him that I had visited with Rob also on this when I got the information. I've talked to 2 cities about how they did it, what they did, and everything like that, and the steps that you have to do in order to be a certified community in this. It's not like I want to do it so we can do it. You have to follow these steps. You have to host a workshop. If you'll look at the second page, it tells you all the steps that you have to do. You have to register with them. You have to have the MOU, demonstrate partnerships, all of these things. And the 2 people I talked to both said that the committee is under a part of the city. And so I talked to Preston about that today, and he would like to do more research on that. So I told him that was fine, we would discuss it tonight, and then we would either table it, or, you know, depending on who wanted to vote on it. So,
I thought that, you said that last time, or part of it had to be.
well, when I talked to him today, I told him I had a set of the guidelines, it had to either be under tourism, under JEDCO, or under the city.
Oh.
When Rob and I discussed it, or I'm sorry, Mayor Baker and I discussed it, we kind of came to the conclusion that tourism would be the best place to put it, under tourism. So you would have a committee under tourism. And this committee would be the worker bees that are going to, you know, do it. Because I know that you all are busy and have different things. So they would be the worker bees, and Chris Winnell, you volunteered to do this, and we would vote on that. So I presented that to Preston, and it would need to be under a city umbrella. And he wants to do more research on that. So at that point, I said, okay, I'm just telling you what I found, what we've talked about before we can go forward and everything like that. So he's going to do his research. I've done my research. I've given you a copy of this. I don't know if any of you've gone onto this website. I have a call into Austin. They send people here who will meet with, and they will give me a list of who they want to meet with, the venue people, band people, everything like that. We would have a big meeting, everybody would get the understanding of what it's all about, and then we could go forward. So it's gonna take a little bit of work. Anybody that's on the committee needs to be someone that is willing to work. And one of the ladies I talked to said, if they're on that committee and they don't come for 2 meetings, they're gone. It's got to be people that are gonna work if you're gonna make it a
You
success.
might want to get people to volunteer that have a vested interest in it, maybe like some
Exactly.
of the venue owners.
Exactly,
Okay. For
exactly.
instance, Mickey, who's gonna be managing the new franchise out here, that should be open in July, one day. And so that's gonna be a music venue. Ken's gonna have music venue outdoors. Richard's built the
Well,
outdoor area.
here's what both of these ladies told me. I said, so do you need to have the venue people on the committee? And she said, that's not really the best idea. She said, you need to have people that are willing to go out, talk to people, and set it up and say, here's what we're gonna do, we're gonna go there, we're gonna go there, we're gonna do this. Get input from them, because the venue is going to make something of it. But she said you might have, and I told her that we were having a new opening, a franchise, and that the man that opened it is very well acquainted with big bands and everything like
What
that.
is his name?
Dave Evans.
Yes, he's got relatives in Marshall and then.
He's not really been in the entertainment business, he's just always been a big fan of the entertainment business.
So he knows. He's got some.
He's never done this before, but
And when are they opening?
he said around July, but he hopes to have everything.
So is the man that's managing it here in
Mickey.
town, is he here?
Mickey's
living?
moving to town, I think he's gonna stay at the Key House for a while. 'Cause he Dave Buck,
Yeah.
yes. But Mickey has played in the show band for years, you know, the cover band stuff, out in the Houston, Austin area. So he knows entertainment, and they're going in, they've already had a professional audio company come out, and they're redoing the whole, theater part. You know, they're pulling out all the brick, they're moving the stage against another wall, I mean, they're doing all that.
So, I mean, something like that would be good, because they can outreach and everything like that. But they, you know, they said you don't want a lot of your venues and then everybody's competing. You want people that are vested in music and then they go out and bring it. And she gave me some other ideas, suggestions of what they were doing in both of these towns, but I'm not gonna get all into that, until Preston does his. He wants to do some
I'm
research.
sure Preston
And
would be
then-
good for the committee.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why I talked to him, but he, wants to do his own research on whether it has to fall under a city umbrella. So if it falls under a city umbrella and it was our umbrella, we then would have the final say. If they brought something and it was like, no, we think you might want to change a little bit or whatever, then, you know, it has to be.
Because all this is a liaison
Yeah.
within a division
Yeah.
of the city.
I'm just telling you how these other places set it up. And I've got to call into Austin, hopefully they'll call back tomorrow, so that we can get some, you know, direct knowledge of it.
I make a motion to table that until we get more,
Yeah.
I say,
more information
Go ahead.
and check it out a little bit more.
Thank you. And we have a second by Chris. Okay, perfect. So we will table this thing, and hopefully out there, you know, I talked to Chris and that he will get, you know, his, and then he can either come back and present or.
Yeah, it says here,
Did
establish.
you have something to say, Mayor?
I think it's a good idea to table it and give everyone time to research it.
Right.
Give Preston time to research it. I believe part of the mechanism of putting it underneath a city or a board of a city is you have to have a funding mechanism in case an event is thrown and not enough is raised to pay for that event, unless y'all are gonna pass the hat at the event. So that's the theory of putting it
Well,
underneath.
it clearly says establish a music office liaison within a division of city government.
Right. So this committee would be a division of tourism.
Within a
Right.
division of city
Yeah, it
government,
would
a
be a
city
committee,
office,
basically.
economic development,
It would be a
a
committee.
CBB,
Yes.
It'd be a
a
committee,
tourism
I think.
office.
And that's what, yeah. a
So it
committee
has to,
under
it
us.
has to be, it's through the state, it's gotta be under a city.
And ideally, you set up part of a budget within tourism to be that as a division of you guys. Those are just my thoughts.
This is from the state, it's not for private,
Right.
it's.
It is a
specific.
state,
And it's just a designation.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
I would like to understand what the designation does for us.
if you get on their website, you can go to say April, because I got on the April website, it tells you every music event that's
Music
going on in the
trails.
state. And like if you're following, if you're following a band, you know, it'll be there, and you can say, oh, I can go to Amarillo and listen to them. And
Maybe
everything
some
like
more
that.
free advertising for some.
So it puts
There you
it,
go.
puts everybody out there, it puts the bands out there, you can follow them. If you're just a music lover, you can go, okay, where can I go to hear good music this weekend? And get on this website and there it is.
Okay, I have a thought. Does
Okay.
Marcia know about the franchise and all and everything that they're doing to get that venue ready, instead of having to rent all this equipment?
Well, but they're a private venue, they're not gonna let them have the gate.
Oh, well, that's true. She runs the game, that's
No,
true.
I mean,
Well,
it's a
and
nice
they're
thought,
not
but-
gonna get 300 people in there either.
No, absolutely not.
They're not, they charge 125.
Yes.
Okay. never
All
mind.
right, so, now, we have our motion, we have a second, all in favor of tabling this, till next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. advertising. Pam, do we have any changes, anything that needs voting or anything like
No,
that?
I sent everybody the Anderson report. They got that. The only thing that I saw that people are really traveling now because our Google Analytics, we had a 60% increase. So, I mean, it's warmer, there's no more snowstorms, you know, so March is looking pretty good.
And I talked to two businesses today, and I know because I work for Paul that, their business, they say, has really increased in the last couple of months. So I hope that's good for you and everybody else.
Yeah, we've had a 60% increase, let me see, if I can find it, 60% increase in Google Analytics from February to March, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, well, that's seasonal.
Seasonal. So, okay, that's all.
Update on the tourism building, we have the repair people coming in tomorrow to fix this. We had it cleaned and sanitized yesterday. Floor looks good, it smelled good this morning coming in and everything like that. Danielle and I set up for the next 2 months when they're coming in to clean after different events and everything like that. And we are having people sign a waiver, not to hold us liable. We're putting out sanitizer. We're telling them if they want to wear a mask, they can, and everything like that. But they are signing a waiver. And we've got 3 or 4 events this, this month, big events, not just where the county's coming in to do their jury duty and things like that, but events, and then we have some things
We have
in May.
events.
So we're filling up as it's coming along.
We have events, what events are coming?
Well, Jody's got her event this weekend, and then there is, the people that do the machines that find things in the ground, and there's a
Garrett.
couple things going
The
on.
Garrett.
Garrett, yes. So,
They come back this
And
year.
what did you say was gonna be fixed tomorrow, the roof? What is gonna be?
no, this, big little.
Divide.
I don't
Oh,
have
right.
any information on that to put
They-
in.
they-
Okay,
have-
y'all wait just a minute.
So
Okay, I'm sorry. Did you want to talk about, go ahead.
Oh, the Garrett Hunt,
Yes.
yeah, it's coming back, they just haven't set the date yet.
Right, and when they do, we need to, contact them because the last couple of years, they've all stayed in Marshall. So I talked to him about when he does his promotion to promote that they stay here in Jefferson.
Right, and, I mean, it's usually in November, so.
So,
Oh, I thought it was.
there are several, you know, the symposium's coming back, we have several things coming up.
Jim opened up the historical pasture out there to Tom, the metal detector guy, and they have found just unbelievable amounts. They actually found a Union trash dump. So,
Oh,
and, so they brought the Garrett guys out, and Garrett's did a survey, and the Garrett surveyors the ones that found the trash dump. And so they said, yeah, we want to do the Garrett hunt out here again.
In November.
And Diamond Don's on board with it too, so.
they haven't really set the date.
They haven't really set the date, they just said, I think last time it was November,
So,
because we had like 3 of them set.
but it's picking up, so that's good. It's a positive look for all of us.
Yeah, the Garrett hunt's always good.
Do you do it or no? No. Just what I asked. All right, items to, consider for next meeting. We're going to talk about the music friendly. Does anyone else have anything they want to discuss at our next meeting?
What about, how's the collaboration going with the Chamber of Commerce and our, board, the calendar where everything's all.
It's going good. I talked to Paul today after the meeting, or after the presentation by the chief, and, he and, 2 of his people, and, Danielle, and myself, and, Tammy Doriot are going to meet and see what we can do about blending it.
I thought we already did it. I thought their calendar is already.
No, idea, Paul has an idea, so we're gonna meet and kind of see what we can do about planning it. Because really, they can't put events on their calendar unless you're a member of the chamber. We can't just put, you know, church events and stuff on our calendar because it doesn't bring people in to spend the night. So we're going to see how we can blend it with, tags so that we can make it all go together. We're meeting to discuss that.
Do we move that on for next, to discuss for next month?
Well, hopefully, we will meet, and, we're supposed to meet next week, so hopefully the
I think
council.
the chamber puts stuff on and, on there.
They do events.
They do,
They do
well,
our events.
I'm just telling you, I talked to them today, and as Paul said, we're very careful about how we do it. And I said, okay, I didn't want to get into it, not my business, you know. So, yes, they do put some, but they're, you know, I'm just telling you what he said. All right, so if there is nothing else, we will, anybody else have any other things to put on here?
We
If
need to
not,
talk about this, music for.
I got that, music from there, already got that down there. All right, if there's nothing, it is 6:34, and I need a motion to adjourn.
We need to put down
Oh, I'm sorry.
Marcia's Pioneer Days. We may need to talk about that,
Okay.
whatever she's gonna call it.
I make a motion to.
Okay, 6:34. Motion by BW, do I hear a second?